Hey folks, it's John with KGTropicals.com. Welcome to another episode of Tank Talk. Today we've got something really fun to talk about. I'm going to have a good time with this. I've been waiting to do this for a while. I've got a list here of my top 5 myths in fish keeping. Now, I have to preface this by saying every single thing that you hear me talk about today has been suggested to me in this store. People have come in with serious looks on their faces, believing that they are speaking fact, and they've told me these things that are on this list. Every single one of them, and every single one of these things on this list has been brought to my attention multiple times. Now, I've got 2 that I'm going to save for last because I think they're the most fun. But the first one that I'm going to talk about, and I just heard this 2 days ago: water changes are too stressful for the fish. Really? Come on, folks. Water changes are the best possible thing that you can do for fish. Imagine if you were locked in a room, a small room, with no circulation for 6 weeks. How do you think the air is going to be in there after 6 weeks? If you're in there with 12 other dudes, the air's really going to be bad in that room. Somebody pumps in fresh air. You think that's going to be stressful for you? No, you're going to be like, oh, thank God. So water changes too stressful for the fish. Maybe they're too stressful for your fish. Maybe you're chasing them around with a siphon tube or something. I don't know. But water changes are the best thing. They are essential to keeping the water quality pristine in your aquarium. To think that it's too stressful for the fish is just absurd. Now, okay, this is the next one that I might seem a little bit hypocritical here, but hear me out. And that is any statement that starts with, I read online that ... There are still people out there, even though they've seen that State Farm commercial or whatever it was, where the girl has the French model. They believe that whatever they read online is fact. And I'm just here to tell you that that is absolutely not true. Now, if you read an article that was written by Ad Konix, or it was written by one of these legends in the fish industry, there's a million of them out there, that's one thing. But what happens is people search online for a particular topic, and they get a result that is a forum post. And so they go and they look at this thread on a forum and they see what people write. These are just people that are sitting in their living rooms giving their opinions about a particular topic, but they take that as fact, even though the person who typed that might be 12 years old and has been keeping fish for 3 weeks. You never know who these people are. You never know where they get their information from. So bottom line is, just because you read it online does not necessarily mean that it's true. Now, if you read it on one of the tropical fish keeping, the magazine website and stuff like that, that's different because they're putting out an actual article written by a professional. That's different. But that's not where I get these quotes from. People come in and they quote forum posts, and let me tell you something, everybody's an expert on a forum. So don't take everything you see online to be the gospel truth. Even from me, I'm just a guy that sells fish in King George. I mean, I'm not going to tell you I know everything. When I share my knowledge with you, I'm sharing with you my opinion. So I could definitely be wrong on a lot of the things that I talk about. So understand that just because you read it or see it online does not necessarily mean that it's true. Okay. This next one is going to probably cause some debate because there are people that are going to argue this fiercely with me. All right? And that is, feeding a variety of food is critical to a fish's development. There are people out there that will put on forum posts, they'll put it everywhere, that you have to give the fish a variety of diet in order for them to develop properly. It's ridiculous, folks. Again, let's use the human analogy here. If you ate a meal that was put together every day with all of the 7 food groups, and it was healthy, organic, well prepared food, and it was made to cover every single aspect of a human being's needs, and you ate that for every single meal of your life, do you think you'd die a young man? No. In actuality, you'd probably live longer than me. because I eat like crap, and you probably do too. So that's the reality here. That's what fish food is. Fish food is put together to give the fish everything that they need. So giving them a variety to me is ridiculous. Now, if you're feeding a particular food that is, I don't know, has no protein in it or something, I don't even know if it exists, but then you want to add a different food that has protein in it, okay, fine. But if you feed your fish extreme fish foods, but then at night you feed them NLS because you want to give them a variety, but more than likely, those two fish foods have the exact same things in them. So you're giving them the same meal, you just have a different brand on it. So giving them a variety of food and having to give them bloodworms this time and flakes this time and pellet, it's ridiculous. I've never done that, and I've never had a problem with my fish's development. So you do not need to feed a variety of food. Does it hurt? No, of course it doesn't. If you want to do it because you feel like it makes your fish happier or what, fine, then do that. But you don't have to do it to have a variety, to have a well-developed fish. You don't have to go out there and spend $300 on 16 different types of food. That's ridiculous. You can give them the same pellet, 3 meals a day, every single day of the week, and they're going to be completely fine. Again, my opinion. There's going to be people that are going to argue with me on that, and that's fine. But there you go. Okay. All right, I'm going to go with this one. This is probably the one that, well, okay, here we go. I heard this literally 3 days ago. When fish grow up together, they will always get along. It's not true, folks. It's absolutely not true that fish that grow up together are going to be fine. If you have a baby Oscar and you raise them with a baby neon tetra, what's going to eventually happen? Do you really think that Oscar, when it gets to be 8 inches, isn't going to eat that little 3/4 inch fish? Come on. It's absurd. It doesn't matter. Oh, I raised my red devils with my flower horns and that's why they don't beat each other up. No. You just happen to get fish that happen to get along. Raising them up together means nothing. If you recall from a past video I did talking about hospital tanks, I showed you my albino Oscar that was ripped to shreds by my red devils. They had been in the tank together for a year, and they were fine. And then one day, the red devils said, that's enough. And they took him out, almost. Lisa saved him. It doesn't matter how long these fish are together or if they grow up together. To think that you're going to raise a flower horn with an angelfish, and because they grew up together, they're going to always get along, is ridiculous. Anybody that tells you that, don't believe it. And this one, throwing my list down on the floor, because this one makes me more mad than anything else, and it is by far the #1 myth in fish keeping. I hear it literally on a daily basis, and that is fish will only grow to the size of the tank. You know I struggled to get through that on my Fish Keeping 101 series when that is not only the biggest myth in the fish keeping hobby, but it's also the dumbest myth. I mean, it's the dumbest thing that I've ever heard, because the reality is this. If you put an Oscar in a 10-gallon tank, yes, he will stop growing. His internal organs will not, and he will eventually burst, not literally explode, but he will die because his organs will continue to grow inside of his underdeveloped body. So if you're one of these people that keeps a comet goldfish in a little fish bowl because you think that the fish is going to stop growing and end up being okay, it's not true. If you're somebody that puts Oscars in a tank, in a 10-gallon tank, and you say, well, they're going to stop growing because they only can grow so far, you are doing the wrong thing, and you're actually being cruel to those animals because you're killing is what you're doing. So I have a hard time when customers come in here and they say it because they believe it is absolute fact. There's people that have been told that their whole life. They'll say to me with an absolute straight look on their face, but John, they only grow to the size of the tank, right? and I have to hold back a little bit because it just drives me nuts. And I have to explain to them that it's not true. I mean, okay, it's kind of weird because it is true. They will stop growing, but they will also die. So if you're okay with that, if you're okay with putting your fish in an environment that's going to kill them, then fine. But it's not true that a fish is just going to stop growing and stop developing because it's in a small tank. It's absurd. So don't do it. So that's my top 5 list of, I'm sorry, there's some people running around outside the building. Go figure. Top 5 list of the biggest myths in fish keeping. I hope you've had some fun with this. I sure did. I was trying to come up with a top 10 list for this, but I couldn't come up with 5 more things. I can only do 5, but I hope you had some fun with it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching. Hey, hit that subscribe button for me. Why don't you do that? I kind of like watching that number go up, and it's kind of a thrill to see that people actually want to see my future videos. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.